My wife stood in our kitchen holding a pregnancy test, tears streaming down her face. "I need a DNA test," she whispered. "It's either yours or Troy's." I calmly said, "No problem." But what I discovered next about her, our neighbor, and our 9-year-old daughter would change everything. My name is Daniel Richardson. I'm 43, owner of a logistics company. I built from one beat-up truck to 10 trucks running routes across 3 states. 12 years of early mornings, broken down rigs, and missed dinners. Jennifer, my wife of 10 years, is listed as co-owner for tax purposes, though she's never driven a route or handled a single client. On paper, she owns half of everything I built. We have Emma, our 9-year-old daughter. Sharp kid, my dark hair, Jennifer's green eyes. She's the one thing I know I got right. That morning, Emma was at school. I was drinking coffee when Jennifer walked in, pale and shaking. "Daniel, we need to talk," Jennifer said quietly. I set down my cup. "What's wrong?" She held up the pregnancy test. 2 pink lines. For 3 seconds, I felt joy. Then I saw her face. Terror, not happiness. "That's unexpected, but we can handle it," I said carefully. "Emma would love a sibling." Jennifer shook her head, tears filling her eyes. "I need to be honest with you." My blood went cold. "I'm pregnant, but I need a DNA test to know if it's yours or Troy's," Jennifer said, the words rushing out. "Troy Bennett, my parts supplier, the guy who'd been to our barbecues, who'd played catch with Emma in our backyard." I stood there, feeling the floor shift beneath me, but I didn't yell. Years of business taught me that losing control solves nothing. "Tell me everything," I said, my voice steady. "It started 3 months ago," Jennifer said, crying now. "He came by with an invoice when you were on a delivery run. We talked, and one thing led to another. It's happened 4 or 5 times since. 4 or 5 times. Not a mistake. Deliberate choices." "When was the last time?" I asked. 2 weeks ago. In our bed." "I'm so sorry." "Our bed. Where Emma crawled in during thunderstorms." "So you've been sleeping with both of us," I said flatly. "It sounds terrible when you say it like that," Jennifer protested. "How else should I say it?" She straightened. "I'm trying to be honest. I could have kept this from you." "You're right," I said, meaning it. "Thank you for the truth. Let's schedule a DNA test." Her eyes widened. She'd expected rage. "You're not angry?" "I'm furious," I said, setting down my cup before I broke it. "But emotion won't change anything. When can we do the test?" 9 weeks pregnant minimum, Jennifer said quietly. "They could do a blood test then." "Blood test it is. Make the appointment." She hugged me, crying about how understanding I was, how this mistake didn't change her feelings. I stood there, then walked to the bathroom and threw up. Staring at my reflection afterward, one thought consumed me. If Jennifer could lie about this, what else had she lied about? Emma, my little girl, was she even mine? I gripped the sink until my knuckles whitened. The doubt had been planted, and I knew it would grow. That afternoon, while Jennifer was at whatever she did during the day, I sat in my office at the warehouse and called my brother Mike. He's a nurse at County General, but more importantly, he's the only person I trust completely. "Hey Dan, what's up?" Mike answered on the second ring. "Quick medical question. Can you do a prenatal DNA test at 6 weeks pregnant?" Silence. Then, "Why are you asking me this?" I told him everything. Every word Jennifer had said. Every lie she'd admitted to. "Brother, you need to leave," Mike said immediately. "Right now. Pack your stuff and go." "I need to know the truth first," I said. "The truth. She cheated. That's the truth. Whether the baby is yours or not. She destroyed your marriage." "I have a plan, Mike." He sighed heavily. "What kind of plan?" "The kind where I protect myself and Emma. Legally, financially, every way possible." "All right," Mike said slowly. "What do you need from me?" "Information, and maybe a good lawyer's number." Mike gave me the contact for Richard Palmer, a divorce attorney who'd handled his friend's messy split. Then he said something that stuck with me. "Dan, whatever you do, document everything. Save every text, every email, every conversation. You're going to need proof." After hanging up, I started digging. Jennifer had left her iPad at home, logged into her iCloud. I'd never snooped before, never had a reason to. Now I had every reason. The messages with Troy Bennett weren't explicitly sexual, but they told the story. "Thinking about yesterday from 3 weeks ago. Can't wait to see you again from 2 weeks back. That was amazing from 10 days ago. Heart emojis, inside jokes, the casual intimacy of two people sharing secrets. I took screenshots of everything, emailed them to a new account I created just for this purpose. Then I kept searching. There were other conversations that made my stomach turn. Messages to her friend Sarah about juggling things and keeping Daniel happy while having fun. She'd been bragging about it, but nothing prepared me for what I found next. A text chain with someone named Sean. The messages went back 6 months. 6 months. Long before Troy. Missing you. And wish we could meet up. And remember that weekend in Nashville. Nashville. She'd gone to Nashville for a friend's bachelorette party 8 months ago. I'd stayed home with Emma. Never questioned it. I sat back in my chair, feeling like I'd been punched in the gut. This wasn't a mistake. This wasn't even just Troy. This was a pattern. My phone rang. Jennifer. Hey, honey, she said, her voice bright. I made an appointment with Dr. Sarah Chun for the DNA test. 3 weeks from now. We'll be 9 weeks along. That work for you? That's fine. I said, my voice flat. Are you okay? You sound weird. Just tired. Long day with the trucks. Well, come home soon. I'm making your favorite dinner. We can talk about baby names. Baby names. For a child that might not be mine. From a woman who'd been cheating for at least 6 months with at least 2 men. I'll be home later, I said and hung up. I stared at the iPad screen, at the evidence of Jennifer's lies, and made a decision. I wasn't just going to get a DNA test. I was going to find out everything. Every man, every lie, every secret. Then I was going to burn her world down. The next morning, I did something I'd never done before. I hired a private investigator. His name was Frank Russo, former cop, came highly recommended by Richard Palmer's office. We met at a diner on the edge of town. Mr. Richardson, tell me what you need, Frank said, stirring his coffee. I laid it out. Jennifer's affair with Troy Bennett. The pregnancy. My suspicions that there were more men than she'd admitted. Frank listened without interrupting, taking notes on a small pad. When I finished, he looked up. How deep do you want me to dig? All the way. Every affair, every lie, everything. I need to know what I'm dealing with. It'll take about 2 weeks for a full workup. Bank records, phone logs, surveillance if needed. Do it, I said. Whatever it costs. Frank nodded. One more thing. You mentioned your daughter Emma. You want me to arrange a DNA test for her too. The question hung in the air between us. Did I want to know? Could I live with not knowing? Yes, I said finally. Discreetly. Jennifer can't find out. I know a lab. They can do it with a cheek swab. I'll send someone to your office. Make it look like a routine health screening. After Frank left, I drove to Bennett Auto Parts. Troy's business. Time to have a conversation man to man. The shop was busy, mechanics working on various vehicles. I found Troy in his office, a cramped space that smelled like motor oil and old coffee. Daniel, Troy said, standing up quickly. His face went pale. What are you doing here? We need to talk. Close the door. Troy hesitated, then closed it. Look, man, I don't know what Jennifer told you, but she told me everything. I cut him off. About the affair. About the pregnancy. Troy sat down hard, his face going white. The pregnancy? She said she was on birth control. Apparently not. Or maybe it failed. Either way, there's a baby coming, and it might be yours. No, Troy said, shaking his head. No, this can't be happening. I've got a life, Daniel. A girlfriend. Plans. Should have thought about that before sleeping with my wife. I said, my voice cold. Troy put his head in his hands. What do you want from me? The truth. How many times? I don't know. Maybe 6 or 7 over 3 months. More than Jennifer had said. Where? Your house, mostly. Sometimes my place when my girlfriend was working nights. He looked up at me, miserable. I'm sorry, man. It just happened. Nothing just happens, I said. You made choices. You came to my home, played with my daughter, ate my food, and screwed my wife. Those were deliberate actions. Troy flinched. You're right. I'm a piece of garbage. What now? Now you're going to give me your phone. Every text. Every call with Jennifer. Then you're going to write down every date you remember being with her. Every location. Everything. Why? Because if you don't, I'll make sure every person in this town knows what kind of man you are. Your girlfriend, your customers, everyone. Troy reached for his phone with shaking hands. 2 days later, Jennifer's parents showed up at my warehouse unannounced. Robert and Linda Thompson, both in their 60s, both used to getting their way. Daniel, we need to talk about this situation with Jennifer, Robert said without preamble, walking into my office like he owned it. Mr. Thompson, Mrs. Thompson, I said, standing but not offering them seats. What situation would that be? Don't play games, Robert snapped. Jennifer told us about the pregnancy and your ridiculous demand for a DNA test. You're humiliating our daughter. I'm protecting myself, I said calmly. Your daughter admitted to sleeping with at least 2 other men. The test is necessary. Linda spoke up, her voice softer. Daniel, we've known you for 10 years. Your family. Surely we can work through this without lawyers and tests and drama. Your daughter created the drama. Mrs. Thompson. Robert stepped forward, his face reddening. Now you listen to me. Jennifer made a mistake, but she's trying to fix it. You're going to forgive her, drop this DNA test nonsense, and move forward. For Emma's sake. For Emma's sake? I repeated, my voice hard. Emma, who has to watch her mother lie to her father. Emma, who might find out her mother tried to pass off another man's child as mine. You're being melodramatic, Robert said dismissively. Men cheat all the time. Women forgive. Now it's your turn. I stared at him. Are you seriously comparing your daughter's serial cheating to some hypothetical situation where I cheated? I'm saying marriage requires compromise, Robert said. And right now, you're being stubborn. If you push this, Jennifer will file for divorce. She'll get half your business, primary custody of Emma, and support payments. Is that what you want? There it was. The threat. They'd come here to intimidate me into backing down. Let me be clear, I said, my voice quiet but steel hard. Jennifer will get nothing she isn't legally entitled to. I've already spoken to lawyers. I have documentation of her affairs. Multiple affairs, Mr. Thompson. Not just the one she probably told you about. Linda's face paled. Multiple. At least 3 men that I know of. Possibly more. So when you talk about compromise, understand that I'm the one who's been compromised. My marriage, my home, my trust, everything. Robert's jaw worked. You're making a mistake. No, I said. I made a mistake 10 years ago when I married your daughter. I'm not making another one. If you do this, Robert said, his voice low and threatening, I'll make sure you regret it. I have connections in this town. I can make your business very difficult to operate. I smiled without humor. Are you threatening me, Mr. Thompson? Because I record all conversations in my office. That sounded a lot like attempted extortion. Robert's face went purple. Linda grabbed his arm. Robert, let's go. As they reached the door, Linda turned back. Her eyes were wet. Daniel, I'm sorry. For what it's worth, I always knew something wasn't right with Jennifer. Even when she was young, she had this need for attention, for validation from men. I thought marriage would settle her. Mom, Robert barked. But Linda continued, looking at me sadly. You deserve better than what she gave you. I hope you find peace, whatever you decide. They left. I sat down, my hand shaking slightly. That had been a battle, and I'd won it. But something Linda said stuck with me. Jennifer had always been like this. I hadn't changed her. I'd never even had a chance. Frank Russo called me 5 days later. Daniel, I have the results for Emma. Can you come to my office? I drove there in a daze, my hands gripping the steering wheel so tight my knuckles were white. This was it. Either Emma was mine, or my entire world would collapse. Frank's office was small and cluttered with case files. He gestured for me to sit and handed me an envelope. Before you open that, Frank said gently, I want you to know that whatever it says, you're her father. You've raised her, loved her, been there for 9 years. DNA doesn't change that. Just tell me, I said, my voice rough. She's yours. Biologically, without question. Emma is your daughter. The relief was so intense, I had to put my head down between my knees. Emma was mine. My little girl was really mine. Thank you. I whispered. Frank gave me a moment, then slid another folder across the desk. Here's the full report on Jennifer. You were right. There are more men than she told you. I opened it. Photos, credit card statements, hotel receipts, text messages. Jennifer with Troy. Jennifer with Sean Mills, the conference guy. Jennifer with Patrick Hopkins, our neighbor and supposed family friend. Patrick, the guy who'd helped me install our new deck last summer. Who Emma called Uncle Patrick. How long with Patrick? I asked, my voice hollow. About 8 months. They've been meeting at his house when his wife Lisa is at work. She's a nurse, works long shifts. I stare at the photos. Jennifer and Patrick embracing in his driveway, getting into his car together. The timestamps showed weekday afternoons when I'd been working and Emma had been at school. There's also evidence of expensive gifts, Frank continued. Jennifer's been spending your money on these affairs. Hotel rooms, dinners, clothes. About $15,000 over the past year. $15,000. My money. Funding her betrayals. I need copies of everything, I said. For my attorney. Frank nodded. Already done. Richard Palmer has a full set. He says this gives you significant leverage in the divorce. I drove home, or what used to be home. Jennifer's car was in the driveway. It was time to have another conversation. She was in the kitchen when I walked in, cooking dinner like everything was normal. Daniel, you're home. I was starting to worry. Dinner's almost ready, Jennifer said, smiling. We need to talk. Sit down. Something in my voice made her smile fade. What's wrong? I pulled out my phone and showed her a photo. Jennifer and Patrick Hopkins in his driveway, his arm around her waist. Jennifer's face went white. Where did you get that? Doesn't matter. Patrick Hopkins, Jen, our neighbor, the guy who's been to every one of Emma's birthday parties. Daniel, I can explain. How many men, Jennifer? And don't lie to me anymore. I have a private investigator. I know about Patrick. I know about Sean Mills. I know about Troy. How many others? She started crying. Just those 3. I swear. You swore before that it was just Troy. Then you admitted Sean. Now it's Patrick. Why should I believe you? Because it's the truth, Jennifer sobbed. I have a problem, Daniel. I know I do. I need help. I'll go to therapy. I'll do whatever it takes. You've spent $15,000 of our money on affairs, I said coldly. Hotel rooms, gifts, dinners. While I've been working 60-hour weeks to support our family, you've been spending my money to cheat on me. Jennifer put her head in her hands. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Sorry isn't enough, I said. I want you out of this house. Today. Her head snapped up. This is my house too. Actually, it's not. It's my name only. You never contributed to the mortgage. Check the deed. The business is protected. I've already spoken to lawyers. You're not getting half of something you never built. Pack your things and leave. After Jennifer left to stay with her sister, I walked next door to Patrick Hopkins' house. Lisa's car wasn't in the driveway. She was working another shift, unaware her husband was destroying 2 families. Patrick answered the door in gym shorts and a t-shirt, beer in hand. His smile faded when he saw my face. Daniel, hey, what's up? Patrick said nervously. I pushed past him into the house. We need to talk. Close the door. Look, if this is about the noise last weekend. It's about you sleeping with my wife, I said flatly. Patrick went pale. The beer bottle slipped from his hand and shattered on the floor. Neither of us moved to clean it up. I don't know what you're talking about, Patrick stammered. I pulled out my phone and showed him the photos. Don't insult my intelligence. I have 8 months of evidence. Photos, text messages, credit card receipts. I know everything. Patrick sat down hard on his couch. Does Lisa know? Not yet, but she will. Does your wife know you've been bringing my wife into your home? Into your bed? It wasn't like that, Patrick said weakly. Then what was it like? Explain it to me. You've been my neighbor for 6 years. You helped me build my daughter's swing set. You came to our barbecues. And you were sleeping with my wife the whole time. Not the whole time, Patrick said, then realized how that sounded. It started 8 months ago. Jennifer came over to borrow something. Lisa was at work. We started talking, and you decided to betray your wife and your neighbor. I finished. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to tell Lisa everything tonight. Every detail. If you don't, I will. Please, Daniel. It'll destroy my marriage. You should have thought about that before you destroyed mine, I said. And if I ever see you speak to Jennifer again, if I ever see you near my daughter, I will make sure everyone in this neighborhood knows exactly what kind of man you are. I walked out, leaving him sitting there in the broken glass and his broken life. That evening, I picked up Emma from Jennifer's sister's house. My daughter hugged me tight. Dad, why are you and Mom fighting? Emma asked in the car. I've been dreading this question. Sometimes adults have disagreements, honey, but it has nothing to do with you. Mom and I both love you very much. Are you getting divorced? Smart kid. She'd figured it out already. Maybe, I said honestly. But whatever happens, you'll always have both of us. That won't change. Emma nodded, processing this. Can I tell you something? Always. I kind of knew something was wrong. Mom's been different lately. She's been on her phone all the time, and she gets mad when I ask questions. My heart broke a little. Emma had noticed. Of course she had. I'm sorry you had to worry about that, I said. It's okay, Dad. I just want to be happy. I pulled into our driveway and looked at my daughter, 9 years old and already more emotionally mature than her mother. I will be, I promised. We both will be. 3 weeks after Jennifer's confession, we sat in Dr. Sarachin's office for the DNA test results. Jennifer had been staying with her sister, but texted me constantly, begging for another chance. I'd ignored most of them. The waiting room was tense. Jennifer sat across from me, her face pale and drawn. She lost weight. Good. Troy Bennett arrived 10 minutes late, looking like he hadn't slept in days. His girlfriend had left him after I'd made sure she found out about the affair. Patrick Hopkins came in last, avoiding eye contact with everyone. I kept my promise and told his wife Lisa everything. She'd thrown him out immediately. Dr. Chin called us into her office. A woman in her 50s with kind but professional eyes. She gestured for us all to sit. Thank you all for coming, Dr. Chin began. I have the DNA test results, but there's something else we need to discuss first. Jennifer leaned forward. Just tell us, is Daniel the father? Miss Richardson, when we conducted your blood work for the paternity test, we discovered something unusual, Dr. Chun said carefully. You're no longer pregnant. The room went silent. What? Jennifer whispered. Your HCG levels indicate what we call a chemical pregnancy. You were pregnant briefly, but the pregnancy wasn't viable. Your body miscarried naturally, likely about 2 weeks ago. Jennifer's hand went to her stomach. But I still have symptoms. Morning sickness, fatigue. Those can be caused by stress and anxiety, Dr. Chun explained gently. Your hormone levels are dropping, which confirms the miscarriage. So there's no baby? Troy asked, the relief clear in his voice. There's no baby, Dr. Chun confirmed. I sat back, processing this. No baby. The whole reason we were here gone. But we still ran the paternity test on the fetal DNA that was present in your blood during the pregnancy, Dr. Chin continued. Mr. Richardson, you are not the biological father of that pregnancy. I'd expected it, but hearing it still hurt. Mr. Bennett, you are also not the biological father. Troy's eyes widened. What? Mr. Hopkins, you are also not the biological father. Patrick looked confused. Jennifer looked horrified. I don't understand, Jennifer said, her voice shaking. If none of them are the father, then who? There's a fourth man, I said quietly, the pieces clicking together. Sean Mills, the conference guy. Jennifer started crying. It was just one night, at the business conference in March. I didn't think. You didn't think, I repeated. That's been your problem all along, Jennifer. You never thought about consequences. Dr. Chun cleared her throat. I'll give you all some privacy to discuss this. After she left, the room exploded. Troy was yelling about being dragged into this mess. Patrick was silent, staring at the floor. Jennifer was sobbing, trying to reach for my hand. I pulled away. Don't touch me. Daniel, please. I know I messed up, but we can still fix this. We can go to counseling. Fix this. I laughed bitterly. Jennifer, you cheated with at least 4 men. You lied about everything. You spent $15,000 of my money on your affairs. What exactly is there to fix? Our marriage. Our family. Emma needs both her parents. Emma needs honest parents. I can only provide one of those. I stood up. The doctor's words had hit me like a truck, but now I felt oddly free. There was no baby to complicate things. No paternity questions. Just a clear path forward. My attorney will be in touch about the divorce, I said to Jennifer. Don't contact me unless it's about Emma. I walked out, leaving them all sitting there in the wreckage Jennifer had created. In the parking lot, I sat in my truck and let myself breathe. It was over. The waiting, the uncertainty, all of it. Now I could move forward. My phone rang. It was Frank Russo, my private investigator. Daniel, I heard about the test results. How are you holding up? Better than expected. No baby means no complications. Good. I have some additional information you need to know. Sean Mills, the conference guy. He's married. His wife might want to know what happened. Send me her contact information, I said. She deserves the truth. That evening, I met with Richard Palmer, my attorney. A sharp man in his 60s. He'd been handling my case with precision. Daniel, given today's developments, we're in an excellent position, Richard said, spreading documents across his desk. Jennifer has no claim to the business since she never contributed to it. The prenup your accountant had you sign protects her assets. And with the evidence of her affairs and financial misconduct, we can push for primary custody of Emma. What about Jennifer? What does she get? Whatever she came into the marriage with, plus a small settlement. Maybe $50,000. But not half your business, not half your assets. The affairs disqualify her from significant spousal support in this state. And Emma. With your documentation and the testimony from Emma's teacher about Jennifer's neglect, you'll likely get primary custody. Jennifer will have visitation rights, but Emma lives with you. For the first time in weeks, I felt hope. 2 days later, Jennifer showed up at my warehouse. Security called me, asking if they should let her in. I said yes. Time to end this face to face. She looked terrible. Dark circles under her eyes, unwashed hair, rumpled clothes. Daniel, please. I need to talk to you, Jennifer said, her voice desperate. You have 5 minutes. I'm sorry. I know I've said it before, but I mean it. I have a problem. I'm sick. I need help. Then get help. That's not my responsibility anymore. What about Emma? You can't keep her from me. I'm not keeping her from you. You'll have visitation. But she's living with me. Jennifer's face hardened. We'll see what a judge says about that. We will. I agreed calmly. And that judge will see every text message, every hotel receipt, every lie you told. They'll see how you spent our money on affairs while I was working to support our family. They'll hear from Emma's teacher about the days you forgot to pick her up because you were too busy with your boyfriends. Jennifer's face went pale. You're really going to destroy me. No, Jennifer. You destroyed yourself. I'm just making sure Emma doesn't go down with you. She left crying. I felt nothing. That night, I picked up Emma from school myself. We went to her favorite pizza place, just the two of us. Dad, are you and Mom getting divorced? Emma asked, eating her pepperoni slice. Yes, sweetheart. We are. Where will I live? With me. But you'll still see Mom regularly. Emma nodded, then looked at me seriously. I want to live with you. Mom's been sad a lot, and she yells sometimes. You're calmer. My daughter, 9 years old, and already seeing everything clearly. I love you, Emma, I said. I love you too, Dad. 3 months after the divorce was finalized, I sat in my therapist's office for my weekly session. Dr. Karen Mitchell had been helping me process everything that had happened. How are you feeling about the divorce now? Dr. Mitchell asked. Relieved, mostly. Sometimes angry, but mostly just relieved it's over. And Emma, how is she adjusting? Better than I expected. She sees Jennifer every other weekend, but she's happier living with me. Her grades have improved. She's sleeping better. Dr. Mitchell nodded. Children often sense when a situation is unhealthy, even if they can't articulate it. You gave her stability. The business was thriving. Without the distraction of Jennifer's drama, I'd landed 3 new contracts. I'd hired 2 more drivers and was looking at expanding into a 4th state. The money Jennifer had stolen, I'd already made back and then some. Frank Russo had sent me one final report. Sean Mills, the conference guy, had been confronted by his wife after I'd sent her the evidence. She'd filed for divorce immediately. Troy Bennett had moved to another state, his reputation in town destroyed. Patrick Hopkins was living in a studio apartment, barely seeing his kids, because Lisa had primary custody. Jennifer was living with her sister Mira, working part-time at a retail store. Mira had called me once, apologizing for her sister's behavior. Jennifer's always been like this, Mira had said. Even in high school, she'd date the safe guy while sleeping with the exciting ones. I told her she was going to lose you, but she never believed it could happen. Well, it happened, I'd replied. Now, sitting in therapy, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Peace. What about dating? Dr. Mitchell asked. Have you thought about it? Not yet. I need more time. Trust issues, you know. That's understandable. When you're ready, you'll know. That evening, Emma and I went to the movies. Just a simple father-daughter night. She held my hand, walking to the car afterward. Dad, are you happy? Emma asked suddenly. Yeah, sweetheart. I am. Are you? I'm happy when I'm with you, Emma said. Mom's okay to visit, but home is with you. Home is with you. For words that made everything worth it. The next day, I got a text from an unknown number. It was Amy Mills, Sean's ex-wife. Thank you for telling me the truth. I'm rebuilding my life now. I hope you're doing the same. I texted back. I am. Good luck with everything. Another life Jennifer had touched and destroyed. But we were all moving forward now, stronger for having survived her lies. Mike stopped by the warehouse that afternoon with lunch. You look good, brother, Mike said, studying my face. Better than you have in months. I feel good. Finally. Jennifer tried to contact me last week. Mike said, asked me to talk to you about giving her another chance. What did you tell her? I told her to leave you alone. That you'd moved on and she should too. Thanks, Mike. That's what brothers are for. Now about expanding the business. I've been thinking about investing. Want a partner? I smiled. Let's talk numbers. 10 months had passed since that Tuesday morning when Jennifer had stood in our kitchen and destroyed our marriage. 10 months of lawyers, tears, revelations, and rebuilding. Now, standing in my newly renovated office at the warehouse, I barely recognized the broken man I'd been. I'd lost 20 pounds, started working out again, and felt stronger than I had in years. The logistics company now had 15 trucks and 23 employees. Mike had become my business partner, investing a significant amount that let us expand faster than I'd imagined possible. We'd opened a second warehouse in Virginia and were negotiating contracts in Pennsylvania. Emma was thriving. She'd made honor roll 2 semesters in a row, joined the soccer team, and had a solid group of friends. Her relationship with Jennifer remained distant but civil. Jennifer showed up for her visitation weekends, but Emma always seemed relieved to come home to me. Jennifer herself had apparently started therapy and was working on her issues. I didn't care enough to follow up. She was a chapter of my life that had closed, and I had no interest in reopening it. Last week, I'd run into Beth Morgan at the grocery store. Ken's ex-wife looked good, healthier and happier than I'd seen her in years. Daniel, hey, how are you doing? Beth asked warmly. Really good, actually. You? Better, every day. I started teaching art classes at the community center. Turns out I have a lot more time for hobbies now that I'm not married to a liar. We'd laugh together, 2 survivors of the same storm. I'd also met with Amy Thompson, Derek's ex-wife, for coffee several times. Not dating, just 2 people who understood what the other had been through. She'd opened a small bakery with her divorce settlement and was building a new life. You know what the best part is? Amy had said during our last coffee, I'm not afraid anymore. I used to be terrified of being alone. Now I realize being alone is better than being with someone who lies to you every day. Amen to that. I'd agreed. This morning, Emma and I were making pancakes together, our Saturday tradition. She was telling me about a boy in her class who'd asked her to the 5th grade dance. What did you say? I asked, flipping a pancake. I said I'd think about it. I wanted to ask you first. Emma said, you don't need my permission, sweetheart. If you want to go, go. But what if he's lying? What if he's not really nice? I turned off the stove and knelt down to Emma's level. Honey, not everyone is like your mom. Most people are honest. And if he's not nice, you'll figure it out fast and you'll walk away. You're smart. You'll know. Emma hugged me. Thanks, Dad. Later that day, while Emma was at soccer practice, I sat on my back deck and thought about everything that had happened. The betrayal, the pain, the anger. All of it had nearly broken me. But it hadn't. I'd protected my daughter, my business, and my dignity. I'd stood up to Jennifer's parents, confronted her lovers, and built a case that ensured Emma stayed with me. I'd done everything right, even when it was hard. My phone buzzed. A text from Richard Palmer, my attorney. Jennifer's request to modify custody was denied. Emma stays with you. Congratulations. Jennifer had tried one last time to get primary custody, claiming I was poisoning Emma against her. The judge had reviewed all the evidence and ruled in my favor within minutes. It was finally completely over. That evening, Emma and I drove to the cemetery where my parents were buried. I hadn't been there in months, too consumed with everything happening. Hey, Mom and Dad, I said, standing at their shared headstone. Sorry I haven't visited. It's been a rough year, but I'm okay now. Emma's okay. We're going to be fine. Emma put flowers on the grave. Hi, Grandma and Grandpa. Dad's been really brave. Driving home, Emma fell asleep in the passenger seat. I looked over at my daughter, this amazing kid who'd handled everything with more grace than most adults could manage. I'd lost a wife, but I'd saved my daughter and myself. That was what mattered. The house was quiet when we got home. Emma went to bed, and I sat on the couch with a beer, something I rarely did anymore. My phone lit up with a notification. A friend request on social media from someone named Claire Donovan. Her profile said she was the new accountant Mike had hired for the business. Pretty smile, seemed nice. I stared at the request for a long moment, then accepted it. Maybe not today, maybe not even this year, but someday, I'd be ready to trust again, to open my heart to someone who deserved it. For now, though, I had Emma, I had my business, and I had my peace. That was more than enough. I looked around my living room, my home, and smiled. This was my life now, built on truth, hard work, and the determination to never let anyone destroy me again. And it felt damn good.